These are 3 ways you can convince anyone to do anything.
Men go mad.
He's gone mad.
Madmen.
You're mad.
The man's mad.
Madmen.
I'm mad.
Welcome to the Mad Men Pod, where we usually debate marketing campaigns and business strategies. We haven't done a deep dive in a while, and shout out to my high school English teacher, Mrs. Schofield. She introduced me to the 3 forms of rhetoric, and I was never the same again. It all started from essays and presentations when Ms. Schofield first introduced me to the 3 forms of rhetoric. But then I started to apply it for everyday life situations, whether it was talking with friends about where we should go eat, talking to my mom on why it's okay for me to stay out late, or anything, really. I started to use it all the time. So let me paint a picture for you. Imagine you're sitting at home, scrolling through your feed, and suddenly an ad catches your eye. It's not just any ad. It's one that tugs at your heartstrings, makes you trust the brand, and presents a compelling argument for its product. That, my friends, is the power of rhetoric in action. In this episode, we're going to explore how companies harness the art of persuasion through 3 essential elements of rhetoric: logos, pathos, and ethos. These 3 pillars of persuasion have been used by companies in multiple marketing strategies, and we see it every day and we may not realize it. So first, let's talk about logos. This is the appeal of logic and reason. So think of it as cold, hard facts that a company presents to convince you of their product's superiority or their brand superiority. Logos relies on facts, data, and logical reasoning to persuade the audience. It's about convincing people through evidence and sound arguments on why they are better. So let's look at an example. Apple's Get a Mac campaign. We all remember it. In these ads, Apple used a series of comparisons between Mac and PC. We all remember that, right? There's I'm a Mac, I'm a PC. Well, there was a series of logical pitches made with, and it was things like Macs have fewer viruses, faster performance, user-friendly features. The ads employed a humorous tone while presenting clear, data-driven reasons to choose a Mac. Let's talk about the results though, because we all remember the ad, but we may not know how it performed. So that year, Mac sales were already on the up and up, but after that ad aired, so they had already gone up 12%, but towards the end of that year in 2006, Apple sales had increased 39%. This was completely attributed to the Get a Mac campaign. They did a record-breaking number of Macs at 1.6 million by the end of the year. Apple's sales increased tremendously throughout the entire 4-year campaign. And during the last quarter of the campaign, Apple had sold more than 2.3 million Macs. That's amazing, right? I mean, wouldn't you say? But if you look at it, the campaign used humor, which is a great tactic. When you talk about rhetoric, they used logos. They really tried to make a logical appeal on why getting a Mac is a logical decision. Now let's talk about pathos, or the emotional appeal. Companies leverage this to connect with their audience on a deep emotional level, making you feel like their product is the solution for your problems or a source of immense joy. Pathos aims to evoke emotions, whether it's happiness, sadness, empathy, or joy. Companies often use storytelling and emotional connections to build brand loyalty. So, of course, let's think, just like we did for logos, let's talk about an example of where we see pathos in marketing. Coca-Cola, a few years back, we all remember this one too, probably, is they did a Share a Coke campaign. Those where the cans had a name on it and you share a Coke, right? This campaign personalized Coca-Cola bottles with people's names, creating a sense of emotional connection. By associating the product with sharing moments of happiness and friendship, Coca-Cola appealed to the audience's emotions of building connections, going past barriers. The result was that 1.2 million more teens tried a Coke during the following summer, and sales of participating Coca-Cola packages rose by a phenomenal 11% in the US. Share a Coke in the US was more successful in driving sales than in any previous market that had run the campaign. What this tells me is that the emotional appeal of building a connection with someone is what we kind of strive for online anyways, right? We want to connect with people. We want to do that. And Coca-Cola appealed to that. They used Share a Coke to get people to buy their product and share it. That is pulling at your heartstrings. Now, let's talk about ethos. This is the appeal of ethics and credibility. This is where a company could establish its reputation, expertise, and trustworthiness to gain confidence in what they can offer. Ethos is about building trust. Companies establish their authority, reliability, and moral character to gain the audience's confidence. So we see this a lot recently with companies using Black Lives Matter as a way to appeal to their audience, and they use it as they may actually believe it, but they're using it as a way that, hey, this is our ethical, moral character as a company, and this is the human side of our brand, and this is why we believe this. But let's talk about a marketing strategy that used this. Dove's Real Beauty campaign focused on promoting real beauty and self-confidence. They used real women in their ads and emphasized their commitment to promoting a positive self-image. Dove, from that, built a strong ethos. The campaign's message was about celebrating women's natural beauty and diversity, aligning with their target audience's values. The success of the campaign was most evident in Dove's finances. The company increased revenues by 10% in a single year, and nearly 20 years later, the campaign is still running, with plans to expand to the virtual world. So, what do you guys think? This was my deep dive. I know it's a short one, but I thought it was fair to share on the 3 ways you can convince anyone to do anything. So the next time you're making a pitch, consider, are you speaking to the logical, emotional, and ethical side of your argument? It should serve you well. Thanks for listening.
Men go mad.
He's gone mad.
Mad Men.
You're bad.
The man's mad.
Mad Men.
I'm mad.